It's gonna be a great day. The sun is shining, the day is bringing surprises, so I gotta do my thing and help my friends win. We're on a collective mission to elevate our positions, to collect the funky dividends. So I offer a helping hand to my fellow sisters and brothers, encouraging them to...
Hi everybody, welcome back to Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. We are here looking at my February spending and whether or not I was able to stay under my $900 a month for normal, ordinary expenses. So let's get right into it. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video because I have a lot to explain in February. So I put $80 away in my prudent reserve. That's a savings. I have an IRS prudent reserve. These are categories that I am going to be saving into going into the future while I'm paying off debt. I'm going to have a rental taxes category. I'm going to have car insurance category. So you are going to see me putting money away to the side while I'm paying off debt in the future. But as you can see, in February, I was not able to put any money into these savings categories except for one of them. So my car, because I had car tags due this month on not only my car, my motorcycle, and this RV, that was $252.76. I spent $517.79 for maintenance on my motorcycle. It wasn't all maintenance. I splurged a little bit and bought new hand grips. Now, you might say that I should not have done that. However, part of the problem that was happening with my motorcycle was due to the old hand grips that I had on the motorcycle. But I just wanted new hand grips. And because my motorcycle is so old, they don't make hand grips for my motorcycle anymore. So when I found them at the Harley dealership, I bought them. I also spent $72.44 in gas this month. That is a lot of gas, but I've done a lot of running around town. And because I live farther from town now, it's a lot more gas to get to Walmart, Sam's Club, and any of the other places that I've had to run to during the month. I also spent $90.09 for medical expenses. I had a doctor's appointment, which cost money. Also, I had to buy my A1C monitors, and those cost about $75. Now, keep in mind, this $90.09 all goes into my HSA receipts. Sometime in the future, I can claim this expense 100% tax-free. This month, I really had to stock up on food. I went to Sam's Club twice, and I had to buy staples like toilet paper, paper towels, those sorts of things. So the bill was higher than usual at $107.09. Of course, my staple is Walmart. So I went to Walmart quite a few times, which is what I do every month, which is why I own Walmart stock. And I spent $177.34. Let's look at the grand total spent for February. $1,422.94. Now, I always compare this to the month before so that I know if I'm moving in the correct direction or if I'm moving in the wrong direction. January spending was $2,046.48. So I'm moving in the right direction towards my $900 a month. But I wanted to point this out, that $974 of the spending this month was unusual, with the car tags and the motorcycle expense. If I had not spent money on car tags and motorcycle expense, My actual regular spending with groceries, medical, and gas would have been $448. So my regular spending was well under my $900 a month goal. Now let's take a look at my debt paydown journey between my credit card and my line of credit. I started with a credit card balance of $7,000. I had $55.99 in interest. I had $1,200 used on my credit card during the month of February. However, I put $2,620 towards payments on my credit card. So that means my current credit card balance is $5,635.99. That's a win for me. Let's look at my line of credit, which started at $32,728.67. January was a rough month. So the interest on that is $802.69. I used $2,428.67 on my line of credit during the month of February. But I paid $3,813.81 on my line of credit during the month. And as you can see, I made a payment of $1,750. I made a payment of $1,400. When I had teaching income come in after I covered a disastrous rental month, then I took that money and put it towards my line of credit. But first, I had to cover my disastrous rental income month. So the total of debt is $39,728.67 when I started the month. I ended the month at $37,782.21. So I reduced my debt by $1,946.46. Now that's because I had a very bad rental month in January, and I don't receive the money until February. So what happened was I had water pipes break because of the freezing temperatures in January. I also had water heaters that needed to be replaced. And with inflation, water heaters are very expensive now in rental properties. So first, I had a shortfall in my rental income. So a large part of the money that came in had to go to cover that shortfall in rental income. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the video. Let's update my retirement accounts and their balances. As of November 2025, I had $135,564. Since I've been getting teaching income, which started in January and February, it really kicked up my teaching income in February. So what I'm doing is I'm taking one of my colleges and I'm putting money into the Roth retirement account. The other two colleges, I'm bringing all that money home so that I can use that money to pay down debt. So my total as of the end of February, I finally broke the $140,000 mark in my retirement accounts. Now, this is with the market downturn that's currently happening. So the $800 a paycheck, which is $1,600 a month, that I'm putting into my retirement account from one of my colleges is now buying when the stock market is on sale. So this is actually a good time, but it's just me putting available money into the stock market. Whether the stock market was up or down, I would be putting this money in my Roth account. This chart shows that I started 2 years ago in February of 2024 with $60,000 to $70,000 in my retirement accounts. So in the past 2 years, I have increased my retirement accounts by $70,000. That's from putting teaching income in and the stock market having a great couple of years up until right now. So we may have a bad stock market, but always be buying. Let's have a chat. I had $1,422.94 spent this month. But my income this month, with teaching income, I received my first Social Security check this month in the month of February. However, I will not receive a Social Security check in the month of March. I will receive a Social Security check in the month of April. But let me explain all this. So, with my spending being $1,422.94, the annual tags were $458. My motorcycle expense was about $518. So my unusual expenses were $976. My normal monthly spending was $447. So I'm going to call this month a win. But what I'm going to show you here is how much of the income that came in I actually spent on lowering my debt. So the other thing that I want to show is I did not have a sinking fund, because you might say that the $458 of annual car renewal tags I should have planned for. I've never done that. I will for next year. It comes out to a sinking fund of $38 a month that I'm going to put to the side so that next year in February, when they want money for new tag plates, I have that money and it does not have to come out of my monthly expenses. So let's talk about Social Security and why I'm not getting a check in March. I'm not getting a check in March because when I applied for Social Security, I estimated my teaching income. And in 2026, the Social Security earnings limit for workers, and I'm under full retirement age, is $24,480 per year. But because I have a variable income, I had to estimate how much money I would make this year, and I never know because I'm not guaranteed classes. This semester, I had 6 classes, which is a lot of money coming in, but that's not what I'm going to have in the summer, and that's not what I'm going to have in the fall. So, my Social Security income is $2,902. So what happens is, because they're holding back March, let's look at an example of what this means when Social Security keeps 1 month's payment. What it is $2,902. That's how much I get from Social Security. So when you double that, it's $5,804. And you add that to the earnings limit, which is a total of $30,284. Once I go over to $30,284 in teaching income, then I have to contact Social Security and tell them to hold back more payments. So far this year, I have only earned $11,264. So I'm not close to the limit, but by the time summer semester ends, I will be very close, if not over, the $30,284 limit. So let's look at this. I paid off $6,433 towards my line of credit and towards my credit card this month. I lost about $3,000 on my rental income that had to be made up by my teaching income, by the Social Security check that came in, and the $900 from my pension. Those are my 3 streams of income. So that means that I had a total of between $9,000 and $10,000 in income in the month of February. I only spent $1,422 on myself. So that is 15% of my income went to my living expenses this month, and 85% of my income went to debt. And I call that a win. This is how I am going to pay off debt at a record pace. I will not always have this high income because my teaching income is variable and it is due to go down. Also, my Social Security will go down, and so that's almost $3,000 that I won't have in the month of March. So at most, I will have $6,000 or $7,000 in the month of March. We don't know what the rental income will be, whether it'll be higher or lower, but all of that money will go to debt. And my goal is to not spend more than the $447 that I spent this month in the month of March, so that I am spending 90 to 95% of my income to reduce my debt. I am on a serious debt payoff journey. So thank you for watching Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle, the Robin Hood of YouTube. And my quote of the day is, when your why is strong, debt payoff feels powerful. Thank you for watching.